So I never know what I'm going to say until I get out here. And what I want to do is not just frame the next conversation. I really want to kind of thread some of the ideas that we've already heard today. I want to start with this whole conversation around race. Shocker, anyone who knows me. And I want to reframe that language. So I think part of the challenge about gentrification or revitalization or displacement is that we don't unpack the language. And similarly, when we talk about race, we don't unpack the language. So when someone says, well, Occupy was really a white movement, what they're saying is that it was a privileged movement, right? So I think the opportunity for us is not to think about this conversation in terms of skin tone, but to think about this conversation in terms of power, in terms of wealth, who historically has access and has assets, and what does it mean when folks who have been dispossessed of their ability to acquire assets then have change acted upon them. That's really what is at stake. And so what I'm excited about in this moment where folks have gathered in this space, where folks are tapped in online, is that we have the opportunity to actually really build a movement that understands that change comes from cultural change and structural change, and that the folks in this room can advocate for both. But the only way that we do that is if we trust each other, and the only way to trust each other is if we tell the truth, and tell the truth about our individual relationships to power and privilege, right? How do we benefit from this system being structured this way? And as long as we uphold systems that have been designed to support white supremacy, we can't trust each other, right? So I hope the conversations that come out of all that you hear, not only in the next hour, early this morning, but in this weekend, are really honest conversations. And so I'm going to ask you to do something. I want to make sure this is not an intellectual exercise, that we don't have an intellectual conversation about the interesting dynamics and complexities of blah, 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 blah. So I'm going to ask you to do something. I'm going to ask everyone in this room and anyone who's watching to come to the edge of your seat, put both feet squarely on the floor, shoulders back, hearts open. This is going to sound really familiar for all of you who have a yoga practice. Hearts open. And really, one hand on your belly, one hand on your heart. Don't care which one it is. I want you to close your eyes. I want you to take some deep breaths. I want you to be in your body. Just keep listening to the sound of my voice. I want you to be in your body. I want you to understand what you're about to hear in the context of your person, in the context of your cellular history and memory, of what you know to be true. I want you to make a silent pledge to be honest in your inventory of what your relationship is to privilege. I want you to ask yourself, how much am I willing to give up in terms of my own access to privilege, benefits from this current power structure? How much am I willing to let go in the name of equity, in the name of justice? And so if you can take that with you through the rest of the day, through the rest of this weekend, then I think that we actually have an opportunity to build a real movement for change. Thank you.